Hi, everyone. I'm Karen Curry Parker. Welcome to the Understanding Human Design podcast. I'm excited here today to be talking to Quantum Human Design Level 2 Specialist Marla Mac, and we're going to be talking about your genius and, most importantly, the role your genius plays in you being able to fully access your success as an entrepreneur. But before we get started, I just have to have a little bit of a laugh. So Marla, you are a time bender, manifesting generator. And of course I am as well. And I love how at the beginning you show me your little list that says breathe, slow down.
Yes.
I have the exact same list on my desk. It's like slowly let it come through in its natural pace. So anyway, welcome. I'm excited to have our time together. So I want to just explore with you for a minute, because you talk about genius and you share with genius and you use tools that help people tap into their genius as part of your work. What exactly is your genius?
Okay. Well, great question, Karen. And first of all, thank you so much for allowing me to be here. This is fantastic. And my office cat, Marv, approves greatly, and he's right here with us, making an appearance. So when I talk about genius, I mean, I have a long list of words that really define genius, but to really sum it up, it's a combination of your innate gifts, your talents, your strengths, your characteristics, even built in with a skill set. It can also include the challenges and the obstacles that you've overcome. And what it does is, for every person, that genius is unique. It is individual. And as from my perspective, which I share, and you've taught me very well on that, is we are all a puzzle piece in the cosmic plan. And a person's genius is directly connected to their role as that important, indispensable puzzle piece. So from my perspective, somebody's genius is directly connected to the expression of their soul.
So I love your definition. And I think, it's so important. I think, I've coached people in business. I don't really coach people in business that much, but for many, many years, I coached people in business, and people were always looking for what's that one technique? What's that one strategy? What's the current algorithm for Facebook? What's the current blah, blah, blah for this marketing tactic and strategy? And, all those little Facebook ads about, your business can become an instant ATM cash machine, right? And one of the things that I found very early on for myself, and I think for my clients as well, is that you could have the worst business strategies, the absolute backwards application of every tactic that's out there, but if you were aligned, if you really were coming from your heart and soul, and the ugliest of ugly web pages would sell and convert phenomenally. Do you find that to be true?
Absolutely. I find that's a huge piece of it. And what has happened in business in general is, they've, exactly as you said, they've pitched, oh, you need this Facebook strategy, you need this, you need that. And what I found is, was walking people through the genius process, so much of that falls away, because then it becomes so much, it gives people clarity on the opportunities to say yes to, and the opportunities to say no to, because it's either falls in their genius or it does not. And that includes all the marketing strategies. And I have a background in marketing, so I know what it's like to pick from the buffet of tactics, and things. But it goes down to a person's messaging, and a person's expression and their alignment. And then from there, it just makes things much clearer. And energetically, the right people then are attracted because that message is clear and their genius is coming through. And potential clients say, oh goodness, that's what I want, right? That's exactly the piece that I need. And it's even more than that. I find it's a permission. When entrepreneurs are living their genius and expressing their genius, they move from chasing results to attracting opportunities.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you use human design in conjunction with that then?
Great question. Human design. So I joke and I say I'm always my first client for everything I do. Human design found me when I was in a bit of a dark hole with my previous self-employed opportunity, which in hindsight was not in my genius. There were parts, but not the whole thing. And it showed up, and I was like, I don't know what this is. And I put it aside. And then a few months later, it came knocking again. And this time, I looked into it much more deeply and I was mesmerized. So, as a 1-3 profile, as the consummate investigator, I started Friday afternoon and I didn't come up for air until Sunday night. And I was so bedazzled by what I found that I was just like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And it shifted me from a space of total breakdown to breakthrough. And I just realized everything's going to be okay. I'm not broken. I don't need to be fixed. You know, I'm perfect. I was designed perfect for what I came here to do. I
Mm-hmm.
can stop wasting my time trying to fill gaps that aren't real gaps. I can stop working on my weaknesses. I now have a map to my strengths and my talents and who I am naturally. And that is what I take and I bring that to clients. So I walk them through, I love to call the human design chart their unique success blueprint, and
Mm-hmm.
walk them through that and show them their magic and show them their superpowers. And it's truly a gift to think that, wow, we were born with this manual of how we are awesome.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So, I think one of the powers of human design and understanding it is that it does give you not just a path, it sort of takes the whole story of the human potential that I think each and every one of us can live into, and it sort of gives you a Rolodex, if you will, about what are the archetypes that you're working on, so that you're not spending your whole life on a quest for who am I. And obviously you're going to have a certain element of that quest, but it's not going to be that overwhelming sense of being confused and lost. Like, I always joke, it's like I have an 11-year-old, and when you take her to the candy store at the Mall of America, which is a giant candy
Mhm.
store, it's too hard to pick, right? What does she want? And I think if we don't have kind of a little system for like what are within this little small box, what are the things you want to be? It's not limiting. It's still a pretty big box, but it's
Mhm.
kind of a relief, I think, to have that Rolodex, if you will, to land on. So
Absolutely.
I have I want to take a little twist and turn, and I want to come back and talk about genius. But
Mhm.
talk to me for just a minute about what you think are the biggest challenges of being a time bender, manifesting creator type, particularly as an entrepreneur.
Mhm. That's a great question because I live it daily. And so a few of the examples that I can cite is, well, there was the business plan or the plan that I worked with, with my coach at the beginning of the year. And now
Mm-hmm.
looking back, I'm like, I can't really say they all really unfolded as that. There's a quote that I will probably butcher, but it was something like a plan is useless, but planning is essential, or there's something to that effect. Having a plan and creating a vision for the year for me was important. However, I still really honored and experimented very heavily with my design in terms of where is my energy? Where is
Mm-hmm.
my energy and where is it guiding me and what's coming up and what am I responding to? And it's been an interesting process in the last few months because I feel like I was getting ready to get ready. And
Uh-huh.
it was like the ducks were lining up and so on. And I recognized I had this just aha that showed up as I was driving. It was one of those really gentle ahas that went ta-da. And it was like, wow, I'm hiding too much. People don't know I exist, or not as many as I would like, and I really need to express myself more. I need to get out there more. And but I had been spending time with the preparation, and all of a sudden In true time bender fashion, I received something to respond to. And next thing
Mhm.
you know, so in this case, it was the Quantum Alignment Show. And then I booked that. And immediately it was like, well, what opportunity will the show present?
Yeah.
This program I've been talking about on and off with my friend and colleague, Natalie. And so suddenly it was, hey, remember that program? Are you interested? And then suddenly, next thing you know, off to the races for two manifesting generators just running down the track at a million miles an hour. And we're putting together a program in record time. Whereas in the previous months, when we had initially talked about it, it felt like the car wasn't starting.
Mhm.
And so it was a great idea, but we both recognized the energy just wasn't quite there and we shelved it. And then suddenly, poof, the energy was there. And now that's what we're running with. So it was a whole series of things to respond to, things popping up. And now, I mean, it's almost like there aren't enough hours in the day to get everything done. So it's quite ironic how
Yeah.
that works and unfolds. But um, I don't beat myself up now for like, I'm not following my plan. I'm not getting enough done in a day. I should get 3 things done in a day. Sometimes it's one and sometimes it's seven. I mean, who knows? And so that to me has been very freeing to say, you know what? There's no one way to be successful. So,
I love that. I love that. I definitely would say that for me as a time bender, I finally just really gave myself permission a few years ago to say, I can't have a business plan. I never follow it. I spend all this money on coaching and crafting this business plan. And by February, it's like, I have a new idea, So, yeah, I love that. So, tell us about this program.
mhm.
How can people learn more about this program that you have poof
Yes, we've
responded to create?
poofed. Absolutely. So the if people want to jump online to see what the program is about, the website is yourgenius.net. That's YOUR genius.net/sacred genius.
Mhm.
And so the program came about because, once again, my friend Natalie Urota is a Discover Your Sacred Gifts certified guide. There's a formal program, and I find it very attractive, but I've also learned to realize as a manifesting generator, just because you want to do everything doesn't mean you should do everything on your own. I know, right? And Natalie brings such gorgeous energy. She has the gift of hospitality as one of her top gifts and the gift of facilitation. And so she is a master at presenting this program. And she has this 4-week program. It's called Discover Your Sacred Gifts. And I said, this is a beautiful adjunct to human design
Mhm.
because it's a formal process, and the outcome is participants are very clear on their top 3 gifts. It doesn't mean, oh, they're meant to be a vet or they're meant to be, that's not how gifts work.
Mhm.
But what's beautiful is it helps people understand what these gifts and things and tendencies that have bubbled up for them over time, what they represent
Mhm.
and what really lights them up and what puts them in that space of feeling fulfilled. And then we jump from in this program. So we spend the first 4 weeks doing Natalie's program. And then the following 4 weeks, I introduce the participants to human design. And I show them how deep the rabbit hole goes in their individuality and their uniqueness and their genius. And I walk them through the key parts, their energy type, their aura, strategy, signature, lines and profile, and as well their incarnation cross. And that is, it's a great, to me, it's important to learn their human design, because for those who are launching into a business or for those who are really looking to grow their business, or even somebody who is considering a career change, their genius really is meant to be the foundation of everything else they do.
Mm-hmm.
So without that foundation, when you were speaking earlier about the marketing tactics and the Facebook ads and the this and the that, it's like running around, as a chicken with your head cut off going, oh, well, maybe this will work. Well, maybe this will work. Well, maybe this will work. When I learned my design, I saved so much money in coaching programs
Uh-huh.
and other programs because I'm like, that's a fit, that's not, right? I need that. No, that doesn't work for me. So the high pressure sales tactics that some of these programs or the people in the programs might do, and I'm not saying all of them do, I mean, but there are a few, they'll, get the salesperson on the phone and I'm just like, no, I'm sorry, it just doesn't resonate. It's not where I'm at, and it's not part of my genius. And, sounds like a great program, just not for me. And it's been so freeing to be able to say no with confidence.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. That's a huge gift that I think human design brings for people.
Mhm.
So your program starts in January?
It does. So we're doing our first group Zoom call on January 5th. That's a Tuesday. We are hosting a bonus call the week before on December 29th. It's called Clarity on Your Core Values. One thing that people may not be clear on is their core values. They may be clear on them when somebody steps on them, but they
Uh-huh.
may not always be clear on them in general. So this is actually a bonus class that's hosted primarily by Natalie, but it's also a great way to say hello and have all of the participants meet each other and meet us live. And it's a walkthrough where people can determine their core values in work and business. And that gives them, it adds to the clarity piece of who they are and who they aren't. And it also helps, just as human design does and the sacred gifts, it also not only helps people understand themselves, it helps them understand other people too, and how other people are not like them.
Mm-hmm.
And thank
Yeah,
goodness for that, because we need everybody of all kinds, of all gifts, of all values to make things, make the world a better place.
true. True. Awesome. So yourgenius.net
Yes.
forward slash
Oh,
what?
sacred genius, SACRED, genius.
Mhm.
So we
Awesome. And
we we smushed together Discover Your Sacred Gifts, and we took Discover Your Genius, and we just went, and that was the name that came up.
beautiful. And bonus class starts 29th of December.
December, yes,
Official class
yes,
starts January 5th, and they
yes.
can get more information about how to register on your webpage, yourgenius.net, right?
Correct. Yes, absolutely. And
Awesome. Great.
so this is the first time we're hosting it. We've already agreed it will not be the last time. Um, and just a heads up for participants, there will be a lot of energy on the calls with two manifesting generators leading the charge.
Beautiful. So drink a lot of water, take a
Yes,
nap before class if you're a projector, and be ready. So
exactly.
awesome. Awesome. Any last minute comments or things you want to share before we wind up for the day?
Um, oh, thank you for that. I can, from my personal experience, having walked through this process and now, introducing it to more and more people, I haven't experienced something that has been so powerful for my mood and my mindset and um, I guess that's probably the best way to explain it, and really being able to explore potential as getting clear and understanding my genius. And the
Mhm.
same would go for other people, because it's a huge gift of self-love and self-empowerment to realize, wow, I don't need to worry about what's over here
Mhm.
because that's not mine to worry about. That's not what I came here for, right? That's not who I came here to be. Whereas when a person really can embrace and understand their genius, it opens up so many doors and so many opportunities in authenticity, in alignment, in joy. And it really makes getting up for me, as of course a generator type, here to work and love to work, but it puts so much joy and energy and fun into work. And I
Mm-hmm.
forgot what it was like to have fun working.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, okay, I have to end because you have on you quoted to me some kind of unbelievable statistic about 85% of the
Mm.
workforce. Do you want to share that? But that's is going to sound like a downer. So I don't want to end on this note, but I want to look at this because I think
Yes.
this statistic so brilliantly illuminates why it's essential that we step into our genius and start creating from that place in work and in the rest of our lives as well.
Absolutely. So that is the one statistic that I carry with is Gallup poll refreshes this every so often. So the last number that I have is 85% of the billion people that they have that they looked at, working on the planet are not engaged with their work. So really, when you flip it, only 15% of people actually are engaged and enjoy what they do.
Mm,
And the amount of negative energy that this disengagement creates, everywhere from numbness to anger and frustration and bitterness, and the disappointment, it's to me, I think it's such a shame because that's the energy, that's really permeating the world. And the world of work is changing. Everything is evolving. In my mother's generation, the options were limited.
right.
It was become a secretary, a nurse, or a teacher. Those
Mm,
were really the three avenues she had. And today's world for many people is, I mean, it's expanded extraordinarily, and it will continue to expand. But having people shoehorn themselves into a work situation where they did it because it was for the security, or it's a good job, right, or it pays well, but they end up trading their soul,
mm,
for just to pay the bills, and it's soul sucking, and then it ends up in burnout and depression and a number of other symptoms. To really go to a point where they take a step back and were able to identify their genius and get clear on their genius, that changes everything. It's like the box that once you've opened it, you can't close it again.
yeah,
You,
totally.
you've been able to see things, and now the impulse is to move in that direction. And the more joy that they start feeling as they move in that direction of really using their genius, then it changes the world, because now they're doing work that not only impacts them positively, but everybody that they're helping.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you, Marla, for joining me here today. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing your genius with the world and for inspiring other people to do the same. And again, you can find out more about Marla's work, yourgenius.net. Go check it out so you don't make any more business plans ever again.
Right, yes.
And it, it's been such a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Mwah, big hugs to you.